by a mountainous silhouette lurking under my skin, constricting my reason. It's fiending to break out and spin into carnage. I harness the havoc so I don't slip into sin.
All right, we are live for the EFL
path of discipline. Each elbow's a prayer.
Every mute the audio from the stream. Looks like all the budget went to AI. See if I can. See if I can get it a little closer to use that string that I have. So Mike Goldberg, obviously, of the original UFC. Trying to see if I can make this up a little in the corner. It just says a lot when Robin Black speaks karate combat for this. So I'm not on my account, so I'm not used to the same setups. All right, this should work a little better. Well,
a little bit, but see the whole
as
forest
we get into the
and
draft,
live this dream again with people who I dearly love, people I can't wait to work with on a daily basis. And I'm excited. So turn back the clock for me. Let's do it once again.
Baby. Yeah, I mean, there's a million what ifs. That's what's so beautiful about change is there's brand new things happening, different ways to view things, different ways to present things. You know, there's fights that we've never got to see, that we may have never imagined you'd see with somebody who was a Bellator champion and a UFC champion. We're going to get some of those dream fights here.
Yeah, you're going to get some of those dream fights, but I also think you're going to see guys that, again, maybe they fought in the UFC and now they're coming over here and they didn't break into the top 10, the top 5, and there was a lot of hype on them. And now we're looking for those guys to get those big matchups. And you look at the roster, there's huge names.
Yeah.
There's big names. So there's no cakewalks here. You know, there's just not. You're getting a tough fight out the gate.
No reason not to go to Mount Rushmore as many times as possible. That's pretty much what we're going to do with a lot of the picks here tonight, Caroline.
Yeah, we will indeed. But let's bring in our reporter, Alex Wendling. She's here with our commissioner, Darren Owen. Let's hear from them.
Thank you so much, Caroline, and welcome, Darren Owen. How you feeling?
Phenomenal. Thank you.
Well, it's such an honor to be here with you for the GFL draft. It's a long time coming. You are a fight fan, first and foremost. You had UFC 1 on a VHS tape before starting your own martial arts journey, had a spinal injury that pushed you more into the promoter route. And then you started when you were 26 years old. So you've been doing this for some time. And now you are seeing the vision being brought to life. So just put into words the excitement of the inaugural GFL draft today.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. To see this come to life is absolutely amazing. You know, the fighters that have come to the table has been, you know, truly inspiring. And, you know, just that old saying, if you build it, they will come. And that's exactly what's happened.
Robel is still being
And the
called a rising star
GFL is looking to really build on the global fan bases. So can you tell me about the inspiration for the 6 cities that we're going to be seeing in the 2025 GFL season?
Yeah, so we obviously wanted to leverage major global markets, but also kind of hotbeds for the sport of MMA. And I definitely think that we've, you know, established that. We wanted to launch a truly global league, and the fact that we're in 4 continents to begin with is definitely a great step in the right direction.
And an official draft is a little bit different for the MMA combat scene. So for anyone out there that's curious about the financial salary cap, could you kind of break it down for them?
Yeah, so a couple things. So each fighter has a revenue share percentage. So each team is capped based on those amounts of rev share points for each fighter, so that our model actually works. And that's the structure of the GFL. We're sharing 50% of the revenue with the athletes. And that's first and foremost, that's our commitment, is to elevate these athletes to, you know, to the same levels as other professional athletes in the world.
Well, it's definitely a very exciting setup that we have. Thank you so much, Darren. It is going to be an amazing night. And Caroline and Goldie are going to get our draft underway, so stay tuned.
GFL is a global battle of 6 teams from 4 countries on 4 continents. London, Dubai, Sao Paulo, Miami, Los Angeles, and New York all compete in a 6-month tournament. Each city will put its pride on the line as it hosts fights during the regular season. Teams will score points, allowing them to move on to the semifinals and final, where one team will be crowned GFL champion. Every fight has a maximum of 4 points available. Finish wins are 4 points, with 3 points given to decision wins. Draws gain competitors.
I'm going to mute this part because obviously it doesn't really matter if you hear Goldie read this. It's kind of pointless to go over the scoring criteria until there's a show announced and a venue announced, tickets on sale, and so on. Lots of AI on the video, which is like, yes, cool. Doesn't really help some of these fighters, which means I believe Verdine is not in the draft anymore for the CPA. Big. The AI is not even good. I think that's the worst part of this. Like the future of fighting is here, while we're just showing a bunch of older, retired UFC fighters.
Points as the season goes on with all the fighters, all the weight classes are going to be the difference for the final two and then the one who wins the Global Fight League. So finish fights, we're going to get people who can knock them out and submit them, and we're going to get a lot of them. And Robin, you obviously know what's going on with this system, but I also want to talk to you about the team, because you were involved in team sports, Brendan, forever. Colorado Buffaloes, Arena Football League. Now we have a team format. How will that make a difference?
Yeah, what I would do if I was one of these coaches, and we have high-level coaches, that I'd be looking for a leader in that locker room, a guy with a lot of experience, a guy that's fought at a world championship level, just to tutelage those younger guys, give them words of wisdom. That's going to start the tone of your team. You want a Tom Brady-ish type of leader in that locker room, a Tyron Woodley, something like that of that caliber. So you're going to want to pick those early because they can go off the board fast.
Robin?
Yeah, I mean, military strategy is great, Brendan. It makes total sense. And of course you want finishers, right? But you get one first pick. You get one. And for my money, you pick the best martial artist available. And there's a number of them that are in the GFL right now that are the best martial artists on planet Earth. But for my money, Gegard Mousasi, don't at me if you're a casual, Gegard Mousasi is perhaps the best martial artist over 185 pounds still fighting today. He's had a bit of time off. It wasn't always because he wanted it. There were, other leagues that he fought for weren't giving him fights. But that bit of time off will have allowed him to heal, have a very healthy body. This is one of the top martial artists in the world. Fish swim, birds fly. Gegard Mousasi weaponizes his body to destroy the body of another, right? You go with Gegard Mousasi.
I totally agree. And Caroline, the next win for Gegard Mousasi will be the 50th professional MMA victory of his career.
Incredible. We're going to bring in Darren. Darren, I want to know what you think of the prediction. So are we going to go for finishers? Are the teams going to pick the quarterback for their team, or are they going to go for just the best all-round or best fighter there is available for their roster? Darren, what do you think of those predictions?
Yeah, how can you go wrong with any of those? Legends, leaders, finishers.
There's 120 fighters that need to be drafted. And apparently they went 2 hours in, so let's say.
The first overall selection in the 2025 GFL draft, Dubai selects welterweight from the United States of America, the chosen one, Tyron Woodley.
There you go. So you called it. But look, he is the former welterweight world champion with a record there of 19-7-1. He's got 4 successful title defenses. Mike, it's a good first pick, isn't it?
I love the guy. He's done a lot of great things since just competing in mixed martial arts. His massive popularity and profile is at the highest level. And T. Wood grew up on the mats at Missouri, so he knows what it's like to work hard with teammates. And there is something special too, Brendan. You and I talked about it before. There's only one first pick, top pick. And you can go to my favorite quarterback, 2020, Joe Burrow. You can go all the way back to my favorite hockey player, Joe Thurton. In 1997, Jumbo, the top pick of the Boston Bruins.
So my thing there is, why is Darren reading the draft picks with Keen Velasquez being the manager for Team Dubai, Javier Mendez being the coach? Darren reading the draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that, right? Sure. Gegard sounds like a great first pick, and that was my first pick, and that would be my first pick. But man, you're not going to go wrong with Tyron Woodley. Come on.
You just set up a fight between T. Wood and Gegard Mousasi.
Oh, that's what I'm here to do today. Oh, yes.
I'll watch it.
Yes, indeed.
All right, well, the champ is standing by to talk to us. Tyron Woodley, welcome to the show. Look, you are the first pick. You're representing Team Dubai. Yeah, let's give him a round of applause for that.
Yeah.
What do you think of all of that, Tyron?
Man, first off, the trailer was crazy, man. You guys went all out. I'm excited, man. It's time to come back home. You know, I kind of ghosted MMA for a little bit. I kind of put it on pause. And MMA, for me, it always came through for me when I needed it. I always had the discipline in the training camps. It was always lessons that I have. So I'm extremely excited to get back to mixed martial arts. It's my roots. I'm ready to start slamming people again, dropping elbows on them again. Boxing is fun. I'm not saying I would never box again, but at the end of the day, all the techniques and things that I learned from boxing is just going to make me a sharper mixed martial artist. So I trimmed down. I was walking around with a little fat on my stomach. I knocked off 25 pounds. I've been in the gym training, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to fight.
I cannot wait. T. Wood, you've always stayed busy. You've always stayed hungry. Now you just told us you are back in prime shape. When the GFL called, how quickly did you answer that call and say, absolutely, yes, I'm in?
You know, I was praying about the situation about me and mixed martial arts anyway. I was like, you know, is this a situation where I need to get back in there? Do I need to walk away from the sport? You know what I mean? Is the fire and desire to go out there and get after it, right? And I went to the gym.
I'm assuming we get the top picks with there's no way you're going to do 120 with interviews. I'm hopeful this does good. I'm hopeful it gives fighters a second chance or second promotion to go to, third promotion to go to. But the current setup is questionable.
I mean, makes total sense. You're the first pick ever. That'll be history forever. If people aren't in the know, they might wonder, well, Tyron Woodley in Dubai, but you're deeply connected to Dubai right now. It makes complete sense, correct?
Yeah, I'm deeply connected to Dubai. I do a lot of consulting in Dubai. I have a golden visa in Dubai where I have citizenship for 10 years there. I've spent maybe 10 trips in Dubai over the last 2 years. And I enjoy it. I got those feet in the sand, and I love the opportunities there. I love the training there, and it gets me away. You know, sometimes it's a little faster in the U.S. when I'm training in Los Angeles and Miami and things of that nature. When I was training in Dubai, I felt like a seclusion. I know you guys see it as big buildings and the biggest this and the biggest that. But for me, I found a way to kind of tuck off in the cut. And Javier Mendez is a person I've been wanting to work with for a long time. When I first started mixed martial arts before any professional fights, he brought me and Phil Davis in on a recruiting trip. I was training with Koscheck, Fitch, Shields, all the top welterweights. Amazing. And I went out there almost like a recruiting trip. And I've always wanted to work with him. He's always let me come for a training camp. Now I get a chance to really learn from a master, and I'm excited about it.
T. Wood, we know how scary it is when you retire, when you stepped away from the UFC. Did you envision?
So again, we had 119 picks left to go. It is 22 minutes into it. We're to one pick so far. And if we're being honest, no one cares what Tyron Woodley has to say.
Season, you're going to see the Tyron Woodley that you want to see. You're going to see more punches. You're going to see more volume. And you guys don't want to see me backing up. You guys want to see me darting across the octagon, the cage, the ring, the whatever the heck we fighting in sand, or White Castle box in the alley. Y'all want to see me going forward, and that's what I'm going to do. Y'all deserve
it.
Yeah.
You do indeed, Tyron. And look, I don't know if we're being sand even in Dubai, but we can't wait to see you back in the cage. Love that you manifested this. Good luck with all your training and preparations, and we'll see you in the GFL.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Wow, I love that he manifested this.
Oh,
he was visualizing it, but he's going to have a target on his back, isn't he? Being the
Well,
former champion.
when you're the top pick, you always have a target on your back. But we talked about what we thought might happen: skill, leader. He just checked off all the boxes, and reborn, coming back to do it even a better way than he did before, Brendan.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do better than what he did before, but I think
maybe better in training, as he alluded to.
Better in training, maybe fighting a different way, more calculated, using his strengths. And also, he's a #1 pick for a reason. Like I said, you want that Tom Brady leader in your locker room. Woodley's that guy in every facet. And then also remember, he grew up a wrestler. There's no better teammate than a wrestler. Anyone's been in that gym, you want to wrestle around you. He was a team captain, and he's a stud, man.
Yeah, and a great performance artist, and that's what fighting is. You're performing under pressure while somebody's trying to smash your face in. A great artist comes into their own in later chapters of their life, and life experience helps that. All the different businesses, traveling to different areas, this is all making him a better fighter, and he's a smarter fighter, and you forget sometimes until you hear that guy talk. He is freaking star.
You also forget how good he is.
Yes. And how excited he is, Carol. I mean, that
we're at 25 minutes so far. We have seen the intro video twice. We have one pick.
It's Los Angeles, Team Los Angeles pick. Darren, who is it?
The second overall pick in the GFL draft. Los Angeles selects lightweight Sage Northcutt.
Super Sage, yes.
Well, he is the former UFC and one veteran. Look at that excitement.
Hey.
We got Sage right away, Caroline. I love this. This is like the draft.
Sage, look, it looks like you're pumped. I can see the excitement. But look, you fought in the UFC, you fought in one, you're getting ready to fight in the GFL. Are there some potential matchups or fights that, maybe rematches or new fights that you're excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sitting here watching the draft right now, and I don't even know who's all in the lightweight division yet. So I'm really watching this whole draft for 2025, seeing who's going to be on the roster. And man, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
I thought he would have taken a sneak peek at Instagram to see who had been announced.
Right? The sign.
Exactly.
And you know what?
So before I started the stream, there was a graphics shown that had the first 55 pick show. What hasn't gone wrong so far?
Not been the most natural path, and it's had some potholes. You have the mental fortitude to avoid those and to work through them, and now you're really going to get a chance at a second life, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I agree. I've been training so hard over the past bunch of years. I've got so much skill. I've matured more, and now getting a chance to show it and getting to fight on a team too. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be fun to see how the fans like that. And Team Los Angeles, I'm sitting here in LA right now, actually. So this is great.
Yeah, Sage, it would have been absurd if you were signed by anybody other than Los Angeles. Just look at this kid, Sean. Look what he looks like. He looks literally like Ken. And better looking than Ken. Lifelong martial artist, stud athlete, and you are as California as they come. Dude, I don't even have a question for you. We're just really excited to see you here. Pick number 2 in the GFL. You got to be stoked.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, I'm stoked. Man, I tell you what, you look great in that suit. I love that suit.
Thank you. I love this kid.
Sage is a nice guy to work. Sage, I don't really have a question either. I'm just excited for you because I feel like you're one of these young prospects that you got pushed too fast, too soon. I hated the matchup you had when you were over in one championship. I didn't like any of it. And for whatever reason, I feel like this older brother, I want to protect him. Because if you just water that flower, that kid is so damn talented. Yeah. And now I feel like you have talent. Clearly, you've always had talent, but also you have the experience now in the GFL. And I just think they're going to be a better fit for you, my man. I'm excited for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sage. Go well, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you.
Still have the $1 million smile.
Thank you so much.
Someone get that kid an agent.
Thank you. Yeah. He's literally carved out of stone, isn't he? He's got all the talent to match as well.
Yeah, no question. And
I got underwear older than him.
Wow, yeah, I have kids older than him. Well, almost right on that border, my daughter. But 3rd-degree black belt Taekwondo. Obviously, we all know about his great striking skills. The entire family are all fighters. They're all strikers. Super Sage is going to be fun to watch, as he always has been.
All right, that's 2 picks in the can. And next we go to my hometown, London. Darren, who have Team London picked?
3rd overall selection in the 2025 draft. London selects from the Netherlands, the dream catcher, Gegard Mousasi.
There he is, one of the most accomplished MMA fighters on the planet. Record, I mean, look at that, 49, 9 and 2. Like you said earlier, Goldie, you know, he's going to be going for that 50th fight. He has been a champion. He's been a pioneer. What a good pick.
And he goes to what I talked about at the top of the show. 27 mixed martial arts wins by KO or TKO. 22 of those in the first round. Yeah. And Robin, you've been talking about, he should be the top pick. Well, he's the top pick for his team. So there's Gegard Mousasi.
Hey, you know, there's a lot of ways that people get influenced, you know, narratives and dogma and doctrines. And there are people who don't understand this is one of the great martial artists walking earth in modern human history. And he hasn't fought that much over the last few years, so injuries have healed. When he's in a state of flow, when he's out and just allowing it to happen, watching himself perform, he can literally beat every other human being on planet Earth. And don't at me, that's the truth.
Yeah, for Gegard, I became a fan of Gegard when he did the up kick against Shocker. If you
talking head portions too long, like.
Yeah, and really let's not forget the 200 Muay Thai battles and all the training over the years, too. He is someone very special and worthy of a top pick.
100%.
Yeah, okay, the teams have come out strong to begin with. Next, we go to Miami, Darren.
4th overall selection in the 2025 draft. Miami selects heavyweight from Brazil, Junior Dos Santos.
Whoa, welcome to Miami.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
The former UFC heavyweight champion. He's fought the who's who of the heavyweight division, of course, hailing from Brazil. He'll be representing Miami here.
Yeah, and you won't meet a nicer human being than Junior Dos Santos. Back in Mexico City a number of years ago, he's like, Goldie, I have this down. I'm Mike Goldberg, and I will see you next time right here inside the octagon. And I know Junior's laughing at that. Buddy, I cannot wait to be reunited with that man because he truly, Brendan, is somebody special.
And to your point that you made at the top of the show, if you're looking for a finisher, that's your guy.
No kidding.
That's your guy. That left hook will put you away. And as a heavyweight, the last thing to leave any fighter, especially a heavyweight, is power. That guy has a lot of power. I was the commentator for his bare knuckle MMA fight in Game Bread. And let me tell you something. He's still a handful. The footwork's still there. He's pretty, well versed on his feet, and the cardio is great. So he's going to be a problem.
I sat right next to him at that Game Bread, that brother Brandon. And if you remember, he moved beautifully. He was relaxed, but his brain, his mind was better. He talked about having been through pressure and stress and dealing with the tension of fighting, even when he was UFC champion. But now he's relaxed and he's just letting it happen, controlling what he can control and not worrying about everything else. And that's why he's fighting so good.
When he came out first thing I said, oh man, he can move.
Yeah. And Caroline, I called the first network the Big Fox Show, which was Junior against Kane. Love Cardio Kane. He's involved with GFL. Lasted 69 seconds. It was a very quick one. So there's JDS for you.
Yeah, so much experience there. Up next, we're going to go to Sao Paulo for pick number 5, Darren.
5th overall pick, Sao Paulo selects from Brazil, Fabricio Verdun.
All right, we've got another Brazilian and another former UFC heavyweight champion and Brazilian legend, Fabricio Verdun. Talking of experience, another man that's going to bring experience to the team.
4-time also Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, 2-time ADCC heavyweight champion, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Muay Thai. Fabricio Verdun has everything. And I know we're going to showcase the finishes, but let's remember one thing. We learned this from Frank Mir on a couple of occasions when bones were broken. A spectacular submission can be as spectacular as that one-punch knockout. And that's the ability that Fabricio Verdun has.
Yeah, you want a leader, and he's the ultimate leader. I keep emphasizing if you're gonna have a team, you want a leader of that locker room to hold everybody accountable. Fabrizio's that. He's as good as they get. He's doing down in King's MMA for years.
Yep.
He's the head honcho there, the captain there. Nothing changes here.
Yeah, he'll knock you out. He'll throw a flying kick, and you can't go to the ground. It's hot lava.
Yes.
You know, you can't.
Hot lava. I like that. Yeah. What great start we have so far. All about champions, right, Caroline?
Yep, the names are coming in thick and fast. But before we go to New York's picks, because they're going to have back-to-back picks, I'm going to bring in the man from Long Island, a coach who has basically coached several UFC champions and more. It is the great Ray Longo, and it's always so good to see you. Look, Ray, what are you expecting from the draft? And what are your sort of tactics as to how you're going to pick your team members?
I think right now, man, I'm excited just to get this thing started. And I like to get a couple of guys that are kind of local so we can maybe all get them together. Guys that, I'm familiar with, that I've either had my guys fight against or, I've just been fans of. So I'm kind of excited for everything.
Ray, it is great to see you again, my friend. It's been a long time. You got a GFL hat before any of us, so you are something very special. I just want to know, will the team mantra be punch a hole through his chest? Is that the way you're going to face everybody off?
Whatever I have to do to motivate these guys, I'm excited to see if I can make a difference. So who knows what's going to happen. But as far as the hat, my hair's a mess. I don't even like wearing hats. But I figured I'd give Darren a little shine. He gave me a hat when he was here. So I want to try to promote this thing as best I can. And since I'm having a bad hair day, the hat goes on.
Perfect.
I love it.
Hey, Coach, when you coaches and general managers and stuff were being named, people thought, oh, that's cool. These guys are kind of famous and known or whatever. But it sounds like you guys are hyper competitive. Like you desperately want to smoke all these other guys. Truth?
Oh, without a doubt. I've always been a sore loser my whole life. I try to handle it good, but I don't think anybody likes losing. So, I ran into Javier in Los Angeles last week, and we had a lot of laughs about what we're going to do to each other, our teams and stuff. So I think it's a fun concept. I'm kind of excited for it.
Nice.
Yeah, you sound excited, Coach. I was just thinking, you've been involved with every organization as far as coaching. Some of the greatest fighters ever do it. GFL has to make you pretty excited when you see the benefits, the fighter pay, the give back, all that stuff. You have to be pretty excited when you see what the GFL is doing.
100%. Even when I talk to Darren, his heart's in the right spot. I mean, he's a guy that look, he wants to get this thing started right. You heard the way he spoke about all the cooperation with the profits and that stuff. Yep. So that's all I care about is the guys looking to do good. I'm going to back them, and it sounds like a good thing for some of these guys that might have gotten shortchanged in the past.
Agree.
Ray, we're going to keep you around. We're going to visit with you again in a few minutes because back-to-back picks for Team New York right now, Caroline. So stay with us, Coach.
Yeah, stay with us indeed. Look, we are live, so keep those comments coming in online. We'll love seeing them. And back-to-back picks, we're going to go to Darren. What is the first pick for New York?
New York selects lightweight from the United States of America, the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee.
Ooh. There he is, the former UFC interim lightweight challenger. Probably one of the best fighters not to win a title, would you say, Mike?
Absolutely, and always entertaining. Yeah. Always has that union, hardworking Detroit attitude to him, and he's a machine. He's a machine, and he's trained with everybody. I mean, back in the day, it was Dewey Cooper and all the guys at Extreme Couture, and then TriStar, notable wins, Edson Barboza, Diego Sanchez, the Nightmare. It was the Motown phenom who was the nightmare that night for Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, now put him in with Coach Ray. That's going to be sick. But you're absolutely right. He's a high-end, high-caliber fighter. He's a high-skill guy, but he'll put on his hard hat and his work boots and grab the lunch bucket and show up at the work site. Still only 32 years old. Come on,
he has a lot more work to do. Like, I like the Kevin Lee fight because there's a lot of promise there. And if gun to the head and I have to bet on somebody when he first coming out into the UFC, that's your next champion. Mm-hmm. And injuries happen, stuff happens.
He's healthy now.
You know how it goes. Healthy now with the GFL. So he would be my dark horse to win this thing.
Second chances in life do not always come. For this man right here, the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee, this is his second chance. I think he's going to take full advantage of it.
All right, and that completes our round number 1 pick. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Alex for a bit of a recap.
Yes, we are isolated here in the social corner, and MMAX is going crazy. People on Instagram leaving comments as well. To kick things off, before the broadcast started, Ariel Helwani asked, the GFL starts in 1 minute. Who's locked in? Anyone have a draft watch party going on? And someone that has a draft watch party going on is none other than the most famous dog on MMAX. It is GoCon, owner of McMalley, a, internet sensation. So they are all watching, tuning in here. And then, of course, Ariel Helwani also had to give credit to this rap song being incredible. So whoever edited that together and has the music choice, top notch. We also are making this a spectacle. We had Bohashinya Depot in the comments saying, I'm more excited for the MMA GFL draft than I am for most fight nights. So that is quite the compliment, especially because we have a stacked roster that we are getting ready to show. And obviously the first overall draft pick with Tyron Woodley bringing that explosive power and that celebrity crossover boxing crossover is super brilliant. And Javier Mendez and Cain Velasquez really executed on that first round pick. But we had some speculation from fans as well. Austin Anderson saying, hey, Alex, who do you think will be the number 1 overall pick? I'm going with either Kevin Lee or Gegard Mousasi, maybe a PVZ if the number 1 team picking prefers good marketing. So there was a lot of speculation, but he wasn't too far off. We did see Gegard and Kevin Lee get picked up as well. And before we head off, we have to give a shout out to GoCon again, because he was wearing a Los Angeles Chargers jersey, and they're watching it from home right now. They're such big fans supporting Sage Northcutt back there. And our final comment is from Based Gotti. She said, Robin is spitting facts about Gegard incoming that 50th win, and she wants to see Gegard versus Luke Rockhold in a trilogy. So there's plenty of options, a lot of talk going around, and we cannot wait to keep the comments coming. So make sure you join us online. You can at me at Alex Wendling X, at MMA GFL as well for more action. So we're gonna keep the action going because there is much more to come with this draft.
The Global Fight League is not just stepping into the future of mixed martial arts, it's shaping it. And it starts with their commitment to fighters both physically and financially. For the first time in the history of combat sports, GFL athletes are true equitable partners with 50% of all net revenue going to all fighters. Plus, the GFL will contribute to a retirement and insurance fund. In an effort to keep fighters safe and competing at their highest potential, the need for unhealthy weight cuts have been eliminated. Though the names might look familiar, the weights are very different. It's the mission of the Global Fight League to bring fans the most exciting events possible, and that starts with putting fighters first.
New York, Sao Paulo, Miami, Dubai, London, LA. Protect your neck, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
I personally hope we get this intro like 6 more times.
The money tears at the seam, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck, cause you come next. Yeah. You oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
6, 5, 4.
Welcome back to the live GFL draft, and those round 1 picks are in, and based on what you saw, What does round 2 have in store, do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the music just for a quick second. I love me some Stem and Face the Pain, Face the Pain. But I'm starting to dance to our song already. So here's my prediction for round 2. You still want to get some of that experience, but when will coaches and general managers start to pick out those rapidly rising stars, the ones who will be tutored by men and women that we will talk about throughout the night? So let's see when that transition kind of starts to happen, Brendan.
Yeah, and you'll see in that first round, two of the teams picked experience with Gegard Mousasi and Woodley, and then 2 teams picked the kind of prospects with Sage Northcutt and then also with Kevin Lee.
By the way,
so,
can they fight for us, Sage Northcutt?
Take my money. That's a great So you're going to see that flip. So if I took the experience, kind of the captain of the team, now I'm looking for that young prospect.
Robin, you keep saying take my money. You must have a lot of money now.
I'll take your money.
I'll take your money.
All right.
Robin,
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. For me, it's time to choose the best woman fighter available. And is that Holly Holm? I mean, Holly Holm is a genius. Holly Holm knocks people out with head kicks. It's time to take the best woman possibly available. Whether you, like somebody on X said, you go Paige Van Zandt, who
were announced,
often underappreciated for how talented of a fighter she is because she has so many other valuable assets,
bring notoriety
aesthetically
to your team,
pleasing, all these other things. But I think you pick Holly and you take Holly right now.
I like it.
We'll find out.
All right, we will indeed. So we're going to go to round 2. Pick number 7. It is, of course, New York again. Darren, who did they pick?
New York selects from New York, middleweight, the All-American Chris Weidman.
Shocking!
Shocking! The former UFC middleweight champion, 2 title defenses. Of course, a long-time member of the Sarah Longo team. And of course, Ray Longo was going to pick Chris Weidman. We're going to hear from him in just a moment. Record of 16-8. There's going to be some exciting rematches for Chris Weidman in this league. But initial thought?
Well, he started the same way that Tyron Woodley is. And that is a D1 collegiate wrestler on Strong Island going to Hofstra. He's been with everybody. He's been with Ray. He's been with Matt Serra, Henzo Gracie, John Danaher. He has been with everybody. He's been at the top, and he has stayed at the top for some time. And then he's fumbled a little bit. Most importantly to me, he's now healthy. But in the big picture, what does Chris Weidman bring to Team New York?
I mean, brings a ton of experience. He's a leader, which is what you want, especially Team New York. But also, what my question for Chris would be, what's his why? He's kind of done it.
Yeah.
He's the All-American, fan favorite. My question would be, why are you doing this? Because he's done it all. He's checked all the boxes. So my question with Chris is, what is the goal here? Just to dominate, which that never leaves a guy like Chris. That's why he's world champion. So what's his why? That's more important to me than him getting drafted.
And that's a great question. There's always questions. People want to know, you broke your leg in half. How you doing? You know who will know that best? The only person who will know it as well as Chris, and maybe better, is Ray Longo, right? If he was drafted by somebody else who didn't know him so well, you would understand, hey, there's some questions, they're taking a risk on or whatever. Ray knows exactly what he's getting. He knows where Chris is at mentally, he knows his why intimately, and he knows the shape that he's in. And that's why seeing Ray draft him early says to me that Chris Weidman's at his game, on top of his game.
I almost feel like we should get Ray back on the show.
Ray, where's Ray?
Where's Ray? Let's bring him back.
Ray, you said it in the first interview. You talked about it. Cause look at the smile on your face. You got your guy.
Come on,
back together.
What do you expect me to do? I got to go with the All-American. I mean, and listen, to everybody's point, I'm more with Brendan Sharp. This is a guy that's a leader. I think he's going to be great in the locker room. Everybody looks up to him. When we would jive him in, the kids still today tell me they never seen anybody work out like him. He commands the room when he walks in. He's got that type of presence. I look forward to being the captain of the team that he's going to be on and what he's going to give to everybody else in that locker room. So, Brendan, I think your point is well taken. That's the way I was looking at it. And besides being one of my closest friends, we started this thing together. Well, me and Sarah started this thing, but Weidman was a big influence on where I've gotten to in my career. So I like to see what we could do in this environment.
And coach, he did break his leg in half, and he has healed that and now is back from that. So intimately if he has any hesitation, how he is with his drive and commitment when he throws a kick, when he checks a kick, when he shoots a double. Where is he at mentally with the healing of the injury?
No, he's back with the healing of the injury. You see him, he throws the kick. It actually, every time he throws that kick, it makes me nervous as shit, to be honest with you. But, he's the guy that I think the injury, he wants to prove to his kids that, don't let anything stop you in life. And something as horrendous as this was and as gruesome, for him to come back is a big thing. And he looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah. And Coach, you talk about Chris's training. Chris is a guy, when I was in the UFC, when I was coming up, we heard legendary stories about Weidman's training. I mean, he was a mythical creature. And to scare guys like us, like me down in SoCal and in Denver, and we're all professional athletes, and then when we would hear these crazy stories about Chris, Coach, is he still at that level? You're seeing him every day, day in, day out. Is he still operating at that high level that we were all terrified of trying to compete with?
I mean, look, the level you're talking about, it's true. Those weren't just stories. I don't know if he's at that level because that level was insane, but he's still at a really good level. And I think Anthony Smith said something a couple of months ago or maybe a year ago that when he went to train with Chris, after he got done, he said, how the fuck are you even losing fights? Like, I don't get it. He said, the guy is absolutely brutal. He is that guy. He wants to... I'm sure he's beating his kids at checkers. He's not letting them win anything. I mean, he's just a competitive guy.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah. Ray, so great to be reunited with you like Peaches and Herb. And I mean, to have his 100%. Guy there who went on the journey. Yeah, I cannot wait, my friend. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ray. And I just think the mental fortitude to come back after an injury like that is just incredible for Chris Weidman. So looking forward to seeing him back in the mix and back in the cage. But we're going to go now to our round 2, pick 8, Sao Paulo.
8th overall pick, Sao Paulo selects middleweight from Brazil, the phenom, Douglas Lima.
Oh, how good is that?
3-time Bellator welterweight champion, a real knockout machine, record there of 33-12.
Speaking of leg kicks.
Yeah, speaking the guy Chris Weidman wants to avoid.
Yeah. Everybody wants to avoid those kicks.
Yeah, you don't want to eat that kick.
I love the guy. And I talked at the top of the show about finishers. Here, how about this one? 16 wins by knockout or TKO, 8 in the first round. But how about saving points? 12 career losses. He has only, Robin, been stopped twice.
Yeah.
All that experience, he's only been stopped twice. That is a durable man, and one of my favorites as a human being.
Physically durable and mentally bulletproof is Douglas Lima. And he's sophisticated and subtle, too. Like, you think it's all brute force, crazy power in his kicks. It's not just that. It's the when he throws it, the why he throws it. He's got a million different ways to interrupt your movement, hit you on the exhale, hit you when you're off balance ever so slightly. And a great champion in Bellator. May they rest in peace. And man.
Douglas is probably one of the most underrated fighters we have on the roster. I mean, he never got his due. Because he's in Bellator. He's going to get it.
Yeah, he is going to get it.
And whoever's making the graphics thinks he's so damn good he beat Cain Velasquez, which is awesome. Yeah, but he did it. I don't want to. The viewers out there, he fought Cain. He didn't, but he could maybe.
Yeah. Well, Cain wouldn't want to be kicked by him. We know that.
No one does.
Yeah, nobody does. Those kicks are absolutely massive. They're Jose Aldo type kicks, but give them to another Brazilian, obviously, who's a little bit bigger.
You know what? We're trending on X. We are top trend in the USA on X. So people are tuning in. I want to remind you that we are live. Keep those comments coming in as we move now to pick number 9, and it's Miami, Darren.
With pick number 9, Miami takes lightweight from the United States of America, Anthony Showtime Pettis.
Showtime, the former UFC and WAC lightweight champion. God, he has wins over Charles Oliveira, Wonderboy Thompson, Gilbert Melendez, Benson Henderson twice, Donald Cerrone twice. The list just goes on.
It really does. And Anthony Pettis is to the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
What Kevin Lee is to the city of Detroit. And Anthony Pettis, much like we talked about earlier with Tyron Woodley, he's really raised his stock. He's doing great with his business, with his own fight association, and he's still exciting to watch. He's always going to be Showtime. It's on his back. It's on his back forever, and he showcases those skills. The Showtime kick is legendary, and he boxed against the legend at Superman Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, he definitely did. He was on a Weenies box, guys.
Yes,
You almost have forgot.
Yeah.
Our boy was on a Weenie box.
Yeah,
I've been jealous since that day.
Yeah, and you shall be jealous for the rest of your life.
Correct.
About
I don't
that,
think
my
I'm going to
friend.
make it, Robin.
Yeah, you know what? When you just watch him move, just to see how a human being expresses combative movement, you don't see many like him. Even at this stage of his career, you watch him just move through the world as a fighter, as a human being. When he throws a kick, it traces the shape of the body. He's so strategic mentally in combat. I mean, he's a different level of martial artist. He isn't combining, jiu-jitsu and boxing and kickboxing. He's just expressing it freely like it's all one thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. My question for a guy like Anthony Pettis, again, similar thing to Chris Weidman. What's his why?
Well,
He's done it all.
We're going to find out.
Yep.
And much like Weidman and obviously Ray Longo, you have the Duke Rufus prodigy and Anthony Pettis, and a shout out to Rufus for it. Duke's one of the best.
Wonderful.
The best of the best.
Wonderful guy.
All right, well, moving us on swiftly. We're going back to London for pick number 10, Darren.
London selects lightweight from Sweden, the Mauler, Alexander Gustafsson.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see this man back in action.
Light heavyweight.
Pioneer of
Oh,
Swedish MMA. I mean, his fight against John Jones, the first one, arguably one of the best fights ever of all time. Would you agree?
So
One of.
I've been told many times, and I probably will start being told many times again on social media, Cody, you know nothing about this sport. I'm like, why are you speaking? Why are you back? Like, okay, bring it. I'm not going to respond this time. I'm older. I'm wiser. But he fought in Stockholm. And I made the comment, now here's a guy who can challenge John Jones. And the world went crazy. What is that? Like, how about this? He's 6'5". John Jones is 6'4". What happened in that fight? It was one of the best in MMA history, Brendan. And the Mauler mauls people.
Yeah, and I fought on that card, and I thought I stole
You got a
the
bonus,
show.
right?
I
Yeah.
got the bonus. Choking out Matt Mitrione. Shout out to Matt Mitrione. Still love you, buddy. But Alexander Gustafsson, I trained with him for that fight. I've trained with everybody. You name it, your boys trained with him. He's the best I've ever seen.
Wow.
And if there was just if he was born 10 years later, he's your greatest of all time. He's that damn good.
The best fighters have the blend between their athletic platform and their skills, the expression of their skills. The margins are blurred, right? You are your skills, you are your body, and it just all blends together. And that's who he is. His entire game is built around his frame, and his frame is perfect for his game. And really tough to fight. Makes total sense in Europe, of course.
That's high praise, Brendan, because you have trained with everybody, and he's a UFC Hall of Famer. So let's see some more mauling.
Yep.
Can't wait. All right, to talk about the Los Angeles pick number 11, we have the GFL advisor, Jeffrey Pollock, standing by. Who is pick 11, Jeffrey?
With the 11th pick in the GFL 2025 draft, Los Angeles selects Aspen Ladd.
So there's our first female fighter.
First female
There you go,
fighter.
Robin.
Wow.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, she's former UFC, Bellator, and PFL, so she brings experience from several promotions into the GFL.
Oh my God.
She's one of the most decorated female fighters in history. Former champion, very complete fighter. Potential rematch with Julia Budd, the Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love that. But you want to have strong females on your team as well, because the point system, top to bottom, is the same. And so Aspen Ladd being selected as the first female in this year's draft, Robin, no surprise to any of us.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people right now who were thinking it would be Holly Holm first. And there's the odd person thinking it would be Paige Van Zandt first. But this makes a lot of sense when it's just the purity of skill, the level of athleticism. Professor Cordero knows exactly what he's doing. And it's a brilliant first pick. And forever, for the rest of time, she'll be the first woman ever drafted in the GFL.
And Cordero's, he's being smart about it. He's being very strategic because he got a finisher with his first pick with Verdum, and now you're getting more, of a person who's going to get your points on your team, but not as much as a finisher.
Yeah, win fights.
Yes.
Win fights
Just
and
win.
keep on fighting.
Yep, just
And
win.
Aspen Ladd, and she is the top female pick of the new Global Fight League, Caroline.
And what a great pair as well. The axe murderer, Vanderlei Silva, is, of course, the general manager. Am I doing it right? I'm just going to do this.
You're doing it right-ish.
Like this?
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure
Before
you
it
gotta have
looked like
the,
she was
you
doing
gotta have the
motion,
fingers,
right?
right? Yeah.
You're like this.
Okay.
It's so scary.
He's going to
So
be
scary
talking to
when
us
he does
in
that.
just a moment, but what a leader for that team.
You know, and Vanderlei and the professor being together, I mean, take us back to the streets of Curitiba. Take us back to the very start. Because in Curitiba, the Gracies are the Gracies, they're the greatest on the ground. But Curitiba was all about strikers. And Vanderlei, one of the originals with the professor, Rafael Cordero, Vanderlei, Anderson, I mean, Chris Cyborg, go down the list. It is not surprising at all that Vanderlei is teamed up with his mentor.
It's scary. It's scary. I mean,
like Vanderlei.
Vanderlei scares me. Yeah, he scares me.
They call him the axe murderer.
The axe murderer. The axe murderer. And he's a guy where if that's your coach, you're not making a lot of mistakes in practice, man.
There's footage of him recently training with a kid who disrespected him with a crescent kick to the face, and Vanderlei beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And that's a different kind of leadership, but that's that tough hand leadership. And Professor Cordero's cerebral. Vanderlei's also the sweetest, kindest, gentlest axe murderer that the planet has ever produced.
That's a real contradiction.
Yes, I know. I like to do that. But the two of them together, this is shaping up so cool, man.
We've got the two of them together. They are standing by. Let's bring them in. Vanderlei Silva, Rafael Cordero, great to see you both. First of all, what kind of pairing are you going to be? Like, what sort of leadership and coaching do the two of you bring together to your team?
First of all, it's a pleasure to talk with you guys. I was listening Mike say about our past. That's it. This is our history. This is the way we build our relationship. This is the way we build our brotherhood. So this is going to bring to the table. It's a pleasure to work with these amazing fighters, new generation, old generation. And at the end of the day, all those guys have experience with 5 rounds. So they have experience of championship tournament. And with our experience, we want to bring fire for GFL.
We have hit the hour.
And you always have, and you always will. Vanderlei, my man, the axe murderer, it is so great to see you. You're with your son. My first question is, okay, and we'll get to you in a second, Professor, but Vanderlei, if you're the GM and Hoppy is the coach, are you all of a sudden Rafael Cordero's like boss? Are you his boss now? Because I want to know.
Então, é imenso prazer poder estar aqui junto com vocês nesse grande evento.
It's a great honor to be with you guys. It's an awesome event, great opportunity.
Vamos trazer muita experiência e realmente muita bagagem para esse evento.
We're going to bring a lot of experience and a lot of weight to our division.
E vamos fazer esse evento ser o maior evento do mundo.
And let's make this event the biggest event of the world.
Love it.
Amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, and having Vandy as a leader, like you guys said, and your son looks great, and having him with Professor Cordero, it's a relationship that goes back decades, as I said, and so it's a perfect relationship for training. So I got to ask you, Professor, is he really your boss now, bud?
He's my favorite fighter. So he is.
See, you're always so perfect.
Hey, Coach,
So,
is there any chance
Can you imagine for me? I'm sorry.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead, Coach.
Can you imagine in my position? I have a pleasure to train all those guys, and you name it before. And the guys are my best friends. The guys are my idols. And the guys that I have a pleasure to sit next to them. And I saw these guys putting a lot of great show. It's not different now. And we sit by side. And it's going to be great to be with Vanderlei again.
Love it. Coach, you're getting pretty chummy with Mike Tyson. We see you all over the place with him. You're coaching Mike Tyson, especially in his last fight. Is there a chance you could bring Mike to kind of help the team out, maybe for a practice? Maybe in the fighter's corner, you have Vanderlei Silva and Mike Tyson. Can we see that? Scariest corner of all time?
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can.
Everything can happen. Everything can happen. What about the hits? People say that I have more hits than Michael Jackson.
That's because you do it, Vanderlei. I'd like to see you and Iron Mike in a little sparring session as well, Vandy. That would be very special. Yeah, it's Vanderlei Silva and his son. That you got. If Mike comes around, you'll spar him immediately, won't you, Vandy?
Yeah, Quem sabe dia, né? Para mim seria uma grande honra, realmente, e quem sabe dia isso acontece.
It would be a great honor. I mean, who knows? Now, the world today, who knows? It would be a great honor, though.
I'll take Vanderlei.
I'll take Vanderlei. Absolutely. Thank you so much to everybody. Two of the nicest people in the business. And you said it, which kind of sounds weird, but Hoppy, you are the man, you are the professor, you are a leader. And for Vanderlei, the nicest axe murderer that you've ever met. So thank you for being a kind axe murderer. See you guys. Thank you.
I would love to be in the training room with their team. That's going to be pretty awesome. All right, moving things along. Well, we're all excited as we work through this draft, which of course is live. Just to remind you to keep those comments coming. But we're going back to Darren now to announce the 12th pick for Team Dubai.
Dubai selects welterweight Abubakar Nurmagomedov.
He is the cousin of the famed Habib Nurmagomedov, and I think with the last name Nurmagomedov, you got to live up to that name, but also he probably can fight pretty good.
Dad's the coach. Dad's the coach. Khabib is the coach's son. He's proven to be the best of the best. But you know what? All of those guys are very dangerous. They're really kind of taking over the landscape of mixed martial arts. And Rob Kamen all the time, Dutch kickboxer. He used to always say, do it the Dutch way. Well, you know what I'm going to say to you, Brendan? These guys do it the Dagestan way, and it's highly effective.
Yeah, they're dominating. They're getting annoying like the Kansas City Chiefs. They dominate. They dominate, and it's tough to say things, are different for the Dagestanis. They just have one way of doing things, and no one's been able to crack that code yet. They really haven't. Between Makhachev, Khabib, you're going to have your hands full. And they're trained by the best.
In the UAE, they appreciate grappling. They appreciate jiu-jitsu. They appreciate the physical dominance of wrestling. And then, of course, the coach speaks Russian as well. So there's a real logic to this, right? And, when you've got the last name Nurmagomedov, we know you can grapple. We know you also probably wrestled bears when you were a kid.
Absolutely. And Makhachev, this is amazing to me, and especially a good tie-in with talking to Vanderlei and Professor. Anderson Silva still has the longest winning streak in UFC history at 16. Makhachev sits at 15. That is dominant.
And we just saw him have another title defense to have the most lightweight title defenses in the UFC. So I'm sure with Habib probably helping that team as well, they're going to go from strength to strength. But as we round up round number 2, we're going to head over to Alex now. She's with Luke Barnett, the team manager from London.
GFL fans, I am being joined by the team manager of Team London, Luke Barnett. Thank you so much for taking the time. We have a lot of big news. First off, Gegard Mousasi and Alexander Gustafsson, the level of talent that GFL is really showing to the crowds. What was your first impression, and why was it so important to make sure they were part of your first 2 picks?
Well, me and Alex have a very long relationship. Me and Alex have been training together for 15 years. He used to travel over to the UK. And obviously, Gegard Mousasi, a European powerhouse, has been within mixed martial arts for decades and is an extremely talented guy. And for me, in GFL, as you see the talent coming through and the big names, I feel like Gegard and Alex in Europe and for Team London, they carry so much name power, and also at the later stages of their career, in the later years, 38 onwards, they're also probably the most dangerous guys in the division. I think they're the most dangerous picks that you could get and best fighters we could have as part of our team.
I love how you put that. Big names and also big power behind them. And I want to talk about the coach that you'll be partnering with, Carl Prince. He is the head of Manchester Top Team. How do you think your guys' skill set is going to complement each other to really have some success this season for GFL?
Well, I think that's one of the secret weapons that we have with Team London is me and Carl. Our synergy is fantastic. We've been working together close to a decade. We're involved in a lot of projects, within mixed martial arts. And the talent that he has at Manchester Top Team is so unknown. We have a few stars that have pushed through and gone on to big things, but he is dealing with extremely talented young fighters, and his mindset and his coaching ability, I think, is going to shine at GFL. I think people are going to finally pay attention, because there's big names in the fighters and there's little big names in the coaches that we have with GFL, and also the managers as well. And I think me and Carl will probably be extremely underestimated, but our work ethic and how we work together so well. He used to coach me, so I know him from a coaching perspective as well as from a business perspective. So I think we have a great advantage just through the fact that we know each other so well, we understand each other's intentions, and we kind of speak the same language from day one.
So, an hour and 10 minutes, 12 they could have used content interviews with coaches.
Because women's MMA is on such a rise, and now we are giving opportunities for 3 divisions to be filled. So what are your thoughts on the 3 divisions that GFL is providing?
I think it's such an important factor to have, females on display, like you said, bursting with talent and coming through. I think this at GFL is a fantastic opportunity, not just in the women's divisions, but in general, for the younger, maybe less known athletes to come through and snipe and take out some fantastic names. I mean, obviously with the draft is happening and we're going to see which names go where, but I got my eyes on Josephine Knutson, and she could have the opportunity to take on fighters like Paige Van Zandt and get those big names, that big value, those big wins, which could be big moments. And I think there's going to be a lot of big names in GFL that everyone knows, losing to the people that aren't so well known, but have got that hunger and that fire. And I feel like we're going to see that, especially in the women's division. And these 3 women's divisions are the most dynamic and most exciting divisions that the female MMA offers. So, yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to have them a part of it. I'm looking forward to finding out who I got on my team.
Yes, a lot of opportunity for big names, upsets, so many different things that GFL will be providing. Luke, thank you so much for the time. Guys, stay with us. The GFL draft continues after this.
GFL is a global battle of 6 teams from 4 countries on 4 continents. London, Dubai, Sao Paulo, Miami, Los Angeles, and New York all compete in a 6-month tournament. Each city will put its pride on the line as it hosts fights during the regular season. Teams will score points, allowing them to move on to the semifinals and final, where one team will be crowned GFL champion. Every fight has a maximum of 4 points available. Finish wins are 4 points, with 3 points given to decision wins. Draws.
Again, it doesn't make sense to go over the points before the draft.
Protect your neck, oh, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest. Protect your neck, oh, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, come clean my mess. Have a dragon, my team, my honor, my chest. I'm haunted by a mountainous silhouette lurking under my skin, constricting my reason, it's fiending to break out and spin. Into carnage, I harness the havoc so I don't slip into sin. But the appetite's massive, I practice the path of discipline. Each elbow's a prayer, every knuckle's a vow. Keep darkness in captivity so it may not devour my sanity, clarity, both teetering on the brink. I'm scaring me, apparently I'm bleeding black ink. I cradle the chaos, cradle the fists that clash. Taste the salted sweat of regret each time I lash. If I can't find a ring or a mat, the monster tears at the seams, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck, oh, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
Welcome back to the GFL draft. And like Caroline said, we are trending on X. So if you want to get on this social corner, hashtag GFL draft or tag me at AlexWendlingX. First off, Doughboy from Jersey Hashtag GFL draft is kind of fire. I can't even lie. I'm very excited to see what this league is going to do moving forward. A lot of positivity going on online. So we appreciate that. The MMA world needs a lot more of that and appreciation for this MMA league trying to help the fighters. The Punch Report said, so far, I'm not mad at this draft. I'll be rooting for the GFL just to hear what Dana has to say about them if they do well and live up to the hype. And then we had the steamroller, Matt Frivola in the comments. Longo and Weidman reunited and it feels so good. Hashtag GFL draft. Keep the comments coming because we have much more action coming. I'll send it back to you, Caroline.
Thank you so much, Alex. So we're going to start to speed things up a little bit now. Give the fans what they want. So Darren, you're going to announce 3 teams at a time now. Over to you.
I selects middleweight, Derek Brunson.
Okay.
Los Angeles selects lightweight, Tony El Kukui Ferguson.
Nice.
And then London, strawweight from Sweden, Josefin Knudsen.
There we have it, 3 more picks. I'm going to start with Tony Ferguson. I think the fans want to see Tony Ferguson win. He went on that long winning streak in the UFC. He was the interim champion. He's here in the GFL now.
Yeah.
What are we expecting from Tony?
Well, you're going to expect fire because Tony always brings it. I mean, he's always in the baddest man talk, but he has fallen on some hard times. And so what happens, it's not what happens to the man, it's what the man does when it happens to him. And the one thing that you also learn in combat sports or anything in life, when you really start to have problems, the first thing you should do is look in a mirror and see what you can bring to the table to try to get things going again. And Brendan, when we were rehearsing yesterday, you simply said, and it's true, you can't ignore the slide that Tony's been on, but you can also not ignore that he wants to finish it quickly.
Yeah, I don't think, he ever got his flowers, in the UFC. And I think he's a guy that in one time he was the baddest 155 on the planet. You'll argue Khabib. I would argue Tony probably would beat Khabib. He'd probably Darce choke him, something like that. And this is a matchup we never got to see. Has fallen to hard times. Again, I keep bringing this up. I hate repeating myself, but my question for Tony would be, what's his why? Like, what, is it because the way things ended in the last organization?
That would be a great why, though, right?
Yes, that would be a great why.
Guys, I got a plan. Somebody draft Dylan Dennis.
Yes.
Weight classes aside, doesn't matter. Somebody draft Dylan Dennis. Everybody desperately would love that. People love Tony Ferguson. I love him. Want to see him win? Everybody hates Dylan Dennis. Put that together, it takes care of itself.
Well, to that note, I
somebody got to draft.
Dennis is my boy. Dylan's my boy. He was texting me. He goes, man, hopefully I get drafted. I'd love to fight Tony Ferguson in New York.
Ah, there you go. I like it.
Maybe someone will draft him.
And how about Derek Brunson?
Yeah.
I mean, Derek Brunson, I love the guy because he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Renzo Gracie. And you kind of think of the one, Derek Brunson, you go, yeah, he was around for a while. He had his ups and downs. How about this? Think about this for a second. Tied for 3rd most wins in UFC middleweight division history with Robert Whittaker and some guy, Robin named Anderson Silva.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's you see a guy like Brunson, and you see his body, and you see how fast he is, and you think of his attributes, and you kind of forget that actually fighting happens in the brain, right? The brain interprets the movement. When we see a fastball hitter hit a ball, we know something is happening in the brain to slow it down and let us see it. Brunson fights like that. He sees everything unfolding in front of him, and he's able to pick spots. So yes, he is, a race car, but he's also an artist, and he's very, very sharp, and his brain is really good, and he just sees everything coming, sees it all unfold.
Yeah, and Derek Brunson is a guy, when you read off those accolades, Goldberg, you forget how good he is.
That's my point.
Because he wasn't the flashiest in the division. He got outshined by some other guys that talked a little more. Later in his career, he started talking a little more trash and got a little fan base from that. But when you look at his credentials, oh my God, he was so good. Even me, this is my job. And when you're reading those off, I'm like, that's right. He was so good.
Yeah.
He's still damn good.
And let's not forget, and obviously when Alex was talking to the leaders of Team London and Luke Barnett, he already talked about Josefin Knudsen. And so we've got a male and a female from Sweden who want to do some business and win a GFL championship.
2 good picks, and Luke's one of the smartest guys in the game. So he's being very strategic. And like he said, she's going to be able to pick off some of those bigger names. You guys know, the Paige Van Zants of the world. skill-wise, you're gonna have your
Yeah,
hands
man.
full.
Yeah. He's sitting there with a chessboard for crying out loud.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
What an alpha move, am I right? A chessboard like that?
Absolutely. The Queen's
Wow.
Gambit.
Man, take it easy.
To our Queen again.
Well, we're still early on in the draft. Plenty more picks to come. And Darren, now we've got another 3-team picks come in.
Sao Paulo selects undefeated welterweight from Argentina, Carlos Petruzella. New York with the 18th overall pick. Women's bantamweight from the United States of America, the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm.
And let us not forget, at pick 16, Yoel Romero, going to Miami. So that's special. But, Holly Holm just sat with us in the booth 2 weeks ago in Albuquerque at our bare knuckle event. And she should forget the chessboard. She had the poker face on. First of all, she's a tremendous fighter. She's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Yes. She has the biggest win in female UFC history in Melbourne, Australia, when she finished Ronda Rousey, who was unbeaten at that time.